how could we make a fight even bigger? I was thinking of maybe we do a catch weight at 190. We get the cruiserweight belts involved, the light heavyweight belts involved, and winner take all. Dmitry said he wanted to fight for the cruiserweight championships before his career was over. So maybe this is we can make a even bigger fight.
Nobody expected this call out. And now the entire boxing world is losing its mind. Just when fans thought the light heavyweight division had finally settled down, David Benavidez stepped directly into the fire and called out Dmitry Bivol for what could become one of the biggest 190-pound super fights in modern boxing history. And the scary part? Benavidez didn't sound nervous. He sounded ready. For years, people said David Benavidez was too dangerous for everyone. At 168, fighters avoided him. Champions stayed quiet. But after moving up and proving he can carry his power against bigger men, Benavidez now wants the ultimate test, the man many fans believe gave Canelo Alvarez the most one-sided loss of his career. Dmitry Bivol. The moment the challenge leaked online, social media exploded. Some fans are calling Benavidez fearless. Others are calling him crazy because Bivol is not just another fighter. He's one of the most disciplined, technical, untouchable boxers in the sport today. Elite footwork, insane timing, cold patience. He doesn't panic. He doesn't brawl emotionally. He breaks fighters mentally round after round. And now Benavidez wants to drag him into a brutal 190-pound war. But here's where things get dangerous. Benavidez may actually be the one fighter capable of pushing Bivol into chaos. His pressure is relentless. His punch output is terrifying. And unlike many opponents, he refuses to back up once he smells weakness. If this fight happens, fans may witness the collision between pure technical perfection and violent non-stop aggression. And trust me, that combination usually creates history. Now insiders are already debating the biggest question of all: would Bivol's precision completely shut Benavidez down? Or would Benavidez's pressure finally crack the machine? Because if this fight becomes official, it wouldn't just be another boxing match. It could become the fight that changes the entire light heavyweight division forever.
So Bivol, obviously Canelo's obviously involved in interviews with you and stuff like that. We're doing it. If you were to get a victory over Bivol, does that maybe just in your mind kind of like, I beat the guy that beat the guy that was avoiding me? Is that kind of maybe just some mental satisfaction that would give you, just kind of?
Yeah, in my head, the way I go about my career and pick fights, I pick the most dangerous people that are there. Bivol is an exceptional fighter. I think he's really good. Even if he didn't even fight Canelo, it wouldn't matter to me. For me, that's a good name to have in my resume.
However, Benavidez made it clear that he could still make 175 if needed. He also worked hard to get the catchweight super fight at 190. As talks about the fight moved forward, he stated that he would be back to training soon. He was set on making this fight happen no matter what.
Like I said, I've been calling for all these fights because I told you guys I've been 100% ready for this. So what I was thinking, right? How could we make a fight even bigger? I was thinking of maybe we do a catch weight at 190. We get the cruiserweight belts involved, the light heavyweight belts involved, and winner take all. Dmitry said he wanted to fight for the cruiserweight championships before his career was over. So maybe this is we can make a even bigger fight like that.
Can you still get to 75 though, if that's what he wants, to just defend his light heavyweight titles?
It was asked by two-time world champion Tim Bradley whether the best fighters at 175 were avoiding Benavidez, or whether David was just not trying hard enough to get those big title fights.
King Canelo Alvarez, but then when you get to 175, why you not fighting the king at 175? You feel me? Like, why you not chasing? Hey, look, I'm me. I'ma be me. I'ma stay what's on my mind. I'ma stay the truth. Why are you not fighting those guys? Are those guys occupied? Are those guys not available to fight? Or these guys don't want to face you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you go up to these weight classes and you're not picking up no straps.
Bradley thought Benavidez was physically strong enough to take his speed and power to 190. But he told him that it would not be easy.
Oh, now he wants to go up and weight. And I guess he's struggling making weight at 175, and I guess he wants to go up there to challenge Zerto at 190. Hey, look, Benavidez, he's a big guy. Benavidez knows what he's capable of doing. He can add that weight. He can keep his speed. He got his first knockout at 175. I knew he would get it against Yard. Yard can't take pressure. Like I told you guys, you know, he couldn't take pressure. Benavidez was beating the hell out of him, man.
Bradley also said that Benavidez probably wouldn't go back down if he went up to 190 pounds, since he already had tough fights lined up at that weight. He made it clear that even though David was big and skilled enough to make the jump, the path ahead would not be simple by any means.
Already, you know, he ain't coming back down. And I'll tell you this, that Zerto fight is not an easy fight. It's not an easy fight. Zerto can box, man. Zerto come with his own volume. Remember, Zerto came from 68 pounds as well. So he got some hand speed. He got some boxing ability. You know, he's a southpaw, just as big as he is. And he's been established at the weight class for some time. So, you know, and he can take a punch too.
Max Kellerman, one of the most well-known voices in American boxing broadcasts, said that Benavidez looked like a rare breed of cruiserweight boxer with lightning-fast hands who threw long, powerful combinations that aren't seen very often at that weight. Even when compared to famous fast punchers, he said David's output and power made him stand out as a real star in the category.
And Devin, I think this was the same thing with you at lightweight. Sometimes a guy is kept artificially light too long, and you can't really see how good he is until he's at a more natural weight class. And two, I can't think off the top of my head of a dude that was a cruiserweight throwing punches that fast.
Yes, it was.
Of a guy with that kind of hand speed throwing those kind of combinations, meaning extended combinations, 7, 8 punches in a row, with that kind of snap on the punches.
Kellerman did bring up an important issue. Benavidez might not do as well if he has to move back down to light heavyweight to fight Bivol. He said David looked best at cruiserweight and warned that fighters who went back down after getting used to a higher class usually got hurt when they did it quickly.
Likely scenario is he goes back down to light heavy and he fights Bivol, who right now is the light heavyweight champion of the world.
Right.
How do you see that fight going at light heavy?
I don't know. I mean, I don't love that for him because we've seen guys like Roy Jones go up in weight and then come back down and they just aren't the same. I think he was already killing himself to make the weight. I've seen him do the weight cuts. I think that, you know, those weight cuts are brutal on him.
Andre Ward, who was the undisputed super middleweight champion and is seen as one of the best boxers of all time, said that the big question was whether Benavidez's high-volume, high-pressure style would still work in a heavier class. He said that not all fighters kept their speed and fitness level the same when they went up, and that the most important thing to think about before a fight of this size was how to adjust physically.
Fans that are tuning in May 2nd on the DAZN pay-per-view and PBC pay-per-view, what can they expect from David Benavidez and what can they expect in this fight?
Honestly, this is going to be one of them highlights fights where there's going to be so much highlights in here because I made sure that I worked on all my combinations. I have not left any stone unturned. I worked my defense, I worked my offense, I worked my counter ability shots, I worked my stamina. So this is going to be one of my best performances thus far, and I'm very excited because, like I said, I'm going to leave it all out in the ring, and you guys know that for a fact because everything I say, I do.
Ward said that Benavidez might be able to handle the change well since he works out at over 200 pounds. He also said that David was big, young, and had never lost a fight before, so he was mentally and physically ready for it. All of these things could make the move up go much more smoothly than most people thought it would.
Every fight that I've got for the past 5 fights, I've called myself. I want Bivol. I want Benavidez. I want the hard fights that's gonna make me, that I'm gonna have to go deep inside myself and bring the best out of me. You know, like I've always said, in boxing, you have to put yourself in a position of stress to get the best version of yourself. And that means going up against the best of the best. And I definitely do want to show what my spirit is made of. And I want to show everybody that with belief in yourself, you could accomplish.
Ward leaned a little more toward Benavidez in his prediction, mostly because David had never been beaten or totally figured out by anyone else. He said that Benavidez usually knocked out his opponents over time and took full control of the fight in the later rounds, even when his opponents had wins.
This is rare to see a father-son relationship work at the highest level. Sometimes it'll work at the amateur level and then maybe on the way up, but you get to that certain plateau where now the fighter is the man and he's the boss. He's cutting the checks, and it's not always, it's hard for the father to let go and let the son be the boss. How has the relationship worked with your dad just at this level that you're at?
Well, I think when you're a little kid and your dad is, you know, guiding your career the whole time.
Kelly Pavic, who used to be the unified middleweight world champion, said that Benavidez was on a whole different level and that he thought Benavidez was too strong, too skilled, and too dominant for anyone else in the class right now. He said that David would have no trouble with that level of competition and that he couldn't see how someone could outbox or outwork him over 12 rounds.
Jaya Pataya, because people, I know that David said he wants to go back down to accomplish his goals, but people are already starting to match Jaya Pataya, David Benavidez. Is that?
That's a good one, but I still got to go with Benavidez because of the experience, you know, just all the years of being in a gym, the different camps that he was in. I still would favor Benavidez in that. It's just, you know, and I could be wrong, and very rarely I am in my picks, but I have a hard time seeing.
Tim Tszyu, who used to be a world champion and fought top-level opponents, said he would love to see Benavidez fight Bivol or beat BV. He thought David was quickly becoming a pound-for-pound champion after his impressive results and thought he was unbeatable at this point in the sport.
I'd love to see like a better BF or a Bivol. Just like I'd love to see like him just smashing everything in light heavyweights.
John Apatow said that he wanted to get the winner at his fight. You think that would be a good one?
That'd be mad as well. That'd be mad. But I would love to, I don't know. I feel like he's got unfinished business at light heavyweight, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Will you want to see a fight at light heavyweight?
Better BF, Bivol,
okay.
One of those guys.
Would he be favored against those?
100%.
Tszyu went even further and said that Benavidez could already be seen as a strong favorite in fights against big names like Bivol or even better, BFV, because he was big, young, and always under pressure. David had a real advantage over anyone who was ready to trade with him.
I feel like he's got unfinished business at light heavyweight, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Will you want to see a fight at light heavyweight?
Better BF, Bivol,
okay.
One of those guys.
Would he be favored against those?
100%. He should be ranking in the top pound for pound, man. With that performance like that, he's just smashing divisions out, man. He's gonna go to heavyweight and he's gonna rule.
Former world champion Sergio Mora, who is known for being very good at technical things, said that Bivol depended on timing and movement rather than raw power. There was constant pressure and fast attack from Benavidez from the start, but he thought David's aggressive style made him the clear favorite in that matchup just because of the styles.
100%, because one, they've sparred before, so they know what to expect. That's one. Two, imagine him fighting in September in the same venue in Las Vegas with all the Mexicans watching again and beating a guy that beat down your superstar, a guy that beat Bivol. I'm talking about Bivol beat Canelo and you beating Bivol on that special date. That's how you take over the crown at 29 years old and become the next star for the next couple of years. Bivol's the way because he's not a big puncher. He's footwork, and you need to know how to close down that distance and foot.
There was strong disagreement with that point of view from Chris Mex, a senior writer at Sports Illustrated and one of the most respected boxing voices in the United States. He said that Bivol's early career strength and top experience were being seriously underrated. He also said that Bivol's full set of skills made the matchup much more competitive than the average boxing fan thought.
Agree with you. I would push back on the idea that Bivol's not a big puncher. He hasn't had a lot of knockouts lately, but when he was coming up the ranks, we were talking about him as being like the Russian Gennady Golovkin. Like he has been a puncher in the past. I think he's got some pop, enough pop that could bother Benavidez, and he's used to dealing with guys that put pressure on him. I mean, he just did 24 rounds with Artur Beterbiev, who was, at the time, was a top 10 pound for pound guy who had a unblemished knockout ratio. So
former world super middleweight champion Andre Darrell saw the one thing that could really hurt Benavidez in this fight: movement and timing for the elite. He said that David had a lot of trouble with boxers who could keep their distance and avoid exchanges all the time. And if Benavidez couldn't close that gap well, he would start to have trouble with competition at the highest level.
110%. It's only the feet that can beat David, right? And possibly him getting caught because he doesn't have a great chin. His chin is good, but it isn't great. I've seen him hurt and down, right? But it's the person with the feet. So it's just like, if he fights Beterbiev, then he can catch Beterbiev with all of the same shots. But if Beterbiev land that shot, and he's an amazing short puncher, David gonna be in trouble. real.
Daryl went even further and said that Bivol was basically Benavidez's last boss because he could move so quickly and control the ring so well. At the top level of the sport, he thought David wouldn't be able to fully break down Bivol with his style over 12 rounds.
And Bivol's the final boss because...
Absolutely, Bivol's the final boss. Yes, I was already assuming you thought that, but I don't think he can beat Bivol. You know, I don't think there's literally like nothing he can do to get the victory. I ain't saying they ain't gonna be close. What I'm saying is nothing he can do to win. I think Bivol will edge him out as far as moving, you know, how David pursued.
Daryl made that point even more clear by saying that Bivol would slowly take over after the middle rounds by finding his rhythm and putting Benavidez in more tough situations. He thought that David would be in real danger if the mood changed as the fight went into the championship rounds and the scorecards started to pile up.
Rounds out, right? And that's if Bivol didn't want to move as much and show that he wasn't afraid, right? And then it's figuring them out too, because you got to get used to that hand speed and that explosiveness in David. But ultimately, after 5-6 rounds, Bivol is going to find his groove and he's going to box him and force him to have to fight harder and potentially put himself in danger, man. I don't think he's powerful enough to knock him out, but definitely drop him and even stop him, right? Because if you think Bivol's on the way out and then he surprises you and comes in and catches you with the shot.
When asked directly about Benavidez, Benavidez did not give anything away. He said he wasn't thinking about picking between a better fight in the trilogy or a possible fight with David because he was putting his comeback first and was open to any big chances that came his way. We'll see.
Do you prefer Benavidez to finish the trilogy, or is like a David Benavidez now maybe rising to the point where he's maybe next in line for you in your mind?
To be honest, now I don't care now. I want to come back and then we will see. Yeah, the trilogy is, if people want to see it, I would like to show it. If people want to see Benavidez, let's do it. But for my soul also, I want to come, I want to move up. I want to try to another weight class. I want to have some more achievement.
Dmitry praised Benavidez's good work and continued growth. And he also talked about his own plans for 2026. He said he was ready to be unbeaten again and even move up to cruiserweight for new challenges. This left the door open for the kind of huge fight that everyone in the division had been waiting for.
Good fight against Ramirez, and he's doing well.
Final one, obviously 2026. Obviously, you said you're coming back in May. Would you like to be undisputed once again by the end of the year?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, this is one of the options. Also, there is Benavidez, there is Bitter Beef still, and also I'm open for cruiserweight. Why not? Yeah, I would like.
Benavidez thought Bivol would win his main event, but he thought the fight would be very close no matter what happened. He made it clear that his side was ready to fight anyone without any doubts, without any excuses, and without any fear of any name in the division. But the fight looks good, so we'll see what happens.
You happy to straight away get a challenge? Yeah, we're ready to play Robert. We're ready. And how do you think, is this the first time in Riyadh? I think it's gonna be a good fight. I don't know, we'll see. And what do you think of your excellency? What he's done for boxing? He's doing a lot for boxing, man. And it's just so good that I can get invited. I can be a part of this.
David Benavidez had marked the spot. The offer with the catch weight was there. Everyone in the class was waiting to see what Bivol would do next with the belts. People weren't just talking about a fight. This was a moment that would go down in history. Both men knew very well what was at stake. Who did they think would win if Bivol and Benavidez finally fought at 190 pounds? Does the catchweight prove useful for David? Or is Bivol just too smart and skilled for any weight? In the notes below, they write down their guess. They hit the like button and joined for more if they liked this breakdown. They got more high-level boxer drama, big fights, and deep dives like this one every week. That's all for this video today. Watch out. Until next time.